So I want to ask you guys a question and have some experience with aluminum boats and compare them to fiberglass. What's your opinion? Are they stronger? Are they lighter? Are they faster? Are they more economical? We're going to find out today, but we want you guys to comment below and let us know what you know about it. So we're on the Projekt Boatworks 39 catamaran right here. This is a full aluminum build, a boat that we've seen once before at this exact location in Fort Lauderdale, 15th Street Fisheries. Badass. I mean, this thing looks great. The lines, the finish, you would never tell it it's full aluminum, and we're finally getting an opportunity to sea trial this thing. So we're gonna run offshore, get the drone up first, and then walk through the entire thing in the detail like we love to do. Let's go. So one thing we've been really curious about is the difference between a full aluminum build compared to fiberglass. We've been on a couple aluminum boats lately and we've been quite impressed with them. First cat, and this one in particular has been the one that I've been excited about since the first time saw them here at 15th Street Fisheries. You can see the deck of this boat. You got a 12-foot beam, 600 gallons of fuel. Quad 300s on this one in particular, push it around 60 miles an hour. And just check this out, beautiful all grip paint. Again, you couldn't even tell this was an aluminum build, even if you got up close to it. So they did a phenomenal job with it. You got a 50-gallon live well here in the transom. Pop this open so you can take a look inside. We got two 40 gallons, port and starboard, which is really nice. These are the ones, they're super comfortable, obviously to load up, having them down below and being able to drop a cast net down in there. And then, let's take a look into the bilge. So you can see the bilge is a little bit different than what we're used to seeing in a fiberglass build. We do have a sea chest right under here, and you have it's a Hooker electric sea chest. You got your Hooker pumps in there as well. Batteries tucked underneath, easy to get into the valves, and you can see all the supports that they add from the stern to the bow here. Really cool. Again, something else that we see a little bit differently is how they work the hatch catches, and this bit of insulation piece here, I guess, is additional support. How nice is this right here? Look at the size of this rear-facing seat. So if you're gonna be fishing back here, it seems like you have space of a 45-footer or more when it comes to the square footage. And then you lift this up. This is completely insulated. Whoop, I gotta unhatch that. Completely insulated cooler here. I mean, you can fit 350 sodas, bottled waters, or other beverages, whatever your mind can think of in there. Absolutely no problem. We have a Garmin MFD up here, JL audio, sound system throughout. And check out how nice this aluminum piping structure is for the hard top and the full enclosure. Hull side doors, both port and starboard, and actually we're getting into a little bit of chop. I don't want to open that up right there, but very comfortable to have that on both sides, whether you're getting on and off a dock or doing some sort of diving, just hanging out at a sandbar with your family. Now we're actually heading out of the inlet. We got a bit of stormy weather. We don't know who those people are, but they seem nice. So stormy weather, a bit of wind, so hopefully we get a little bit of chop to see what this bad boy can actually do. Very nice on a cat to have that feature. What's the weight on this?
21,000, the weight's sitting right now, full fuel.
Fully loaded?
Yeah.
So for some reason in my mind, I always thought like a full aluminum build would have a lot of hollow spots and you'd hear banging. But I mean, we're moving, now we're doing 45 miles an hour. You know, it's not super choppy out here, but we're hitting some waves, and I mean it is super solid, super solid. Not one rattle, not one sound. Definitely completely different than what I was initially expecting. There we go. Wow. Did you touch the trim at all before doing that?
I brought it up a couple of degrees.
Okay, not much. As you can see with the engine trim, it's somewhere between 8 and like 12%, 10%. So sometimes when I drive a cat and I'm gonna make a turn, I'll play with the trim and kind of cheat it a little bit, but you really didn't do that, and it did actually lean into the turn some. You think that has something to do with the asymmetrical hull, or what do you feel is behind that?
Asymmetrical hull for sure.
Yeah?
Plays a hand in that.
You see he's making a turn right here, and that bow is leaning to the port side. Wow. We're doing 37 miles an hour right now. Obviously with the catamarans, the turning is the one small drawback, but as you can see, Jeff just showed us that on this boat, it might have to do with that asymmetrical the hull that they have, but it's not a drawback at all. Usually, you know, some of these you'll have to mess with the trim like I mentioned, and then you'll have the bow actually almost lean in the opposite direction, which are maybe some of the stories you've heard from cats, but not because we have Jeff right next to us, but you can see it. We're turning hard at 36 miles an hour, leaning into it, and it's a pretty tight radius right here we're making. So we're heading out a little bit further, trying to get out of the flight path of the airport, and I just got up on the LeBrock seats, one of the most comfortable seats in the house. You can sit back, pin yourself right here in the console. You can run for days, absolutely no problem. Jeff, where are you guys building these right now?
Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver, Canada? Oh, okay. How many boats are you saying you're building a year, roughly? I think you guys started not too long ago, so.
Put a dozen boats a year to run in the factory.
Oh, yeah? Okay. So we just got the drone up in the air. As you can see, I got us pinned right there. We're just gonna run straight a little bit, see how the boat looks while underway from the exterior, and then we're gonna try to capture some of those turns from up top so you can see how the boat reacts. Let's see if I can figure this thing out though. I like the look of the boat from up top, that's for dang sure. There's no bad angles on this thing. Trying to keep up, there's a lot of light paths here due to the airports obviously, so we're struggling with it, but got some nice content. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Can I fly this thing or not really? Definitely not the best, but I've seen worse. Well, another flight zone. All right, I think we can land it. Got a ton of footage. And here comes the fun part. Eric's gonna catch this with his fingertips. So obviously you have that 12-foot beam and you can fish here as comfortable as you can get it. But if you want to actually add some seating, you got two jump seats, one port, one starboard. And this right here is one of the more comfortable and stable seats on the entire boat. All right, so I'm sitting at the helm. We got two nice big Garmin MFDs, your vessel view down the middle. This one has an Optimus 360 joystick, your throttle here obviously, your start-stop fusion head unit, autopilot, switch panel underneath, and all within a nice enclosure. With the quad 300s, we hit about 60 miles an hour, and it does pretty well at cruise. You do about 40-45 miles an hour, and you're right at 1 mile per gallon. Jeff, let me have at it here. I always like to take a few minutes at least, even if we're doing a lot of the filming, just to get a feel of what the boat can do. So I like to run it on single lever mode, especially if it's a cat, because you do have to play with the trim a little bit. So it does take more of your hand and allows it to kind of rest here. You can play with the trim, and then I usually just use the throttle here in between my thumb and my forefinger just to give it gas if I need. So it's a nice smooth ride. We could have made it out to the Bahamas here in no time today. So very solid. You don't hear a rattle in this boat at all. A lot of insulation throughout. So no hollow spots from what I thought for some reason the aluminum hull had. So very impressed with it. There's a little extra space than what I'm used to right here between the helm seat and the throttle, but you can adjust these LeBrocs forward or backward depending on what you're doing. Here, as you can see, we hit a wave that just went from 35 to 40 real quick. So you can tighten these throttles a little bit so that pressure from the wave itself and making the impact doesn't keep giving you gas, which tends to happen. I'm not sure if you guys noticed it there, but it happens. Really nice boat. I love the width. I love the beam. The interior space is phenomenal, as you can see from the drone footage. It's just a beautifully, beautifully well done boat, especially considering it's complete aluminum. It's absolutely insane. Never think of that by jumping on this boat, taking a spin on it. Like I said, I didn't mess up anything with the trim. Doing the turn, you can see we are getting a little lean to the port side, which is what you want to see. And then here to the starboard side again. Normally on a catamaran, I would cheat a little bit with the trim, lean the bow in, and then turn into it. Here, you really don't need to do anything at all. And what Jeff says, it has a lot to do with the asymmetrical hull design, which we don't have a ton of experience in, but man, pretty impressed with it actually so far. All right, so I ran the boat. Very impressive. Exactly, I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to experience, considering it's the full aluminum build, but I mean, super sturdy. It was very impressive. Not one rattle, not one sound. You got to experience it yourself to really understand what it's about. And again, they did a phenomenal job on what they did with the layout of this boat. The spacing is perfect. The amount of room you have on either side of the console. I mean, look at the space that they offer you here. Cockpit space, seating space, even tackle space right here. You got this both port and starboard. So they really did a great job. We're going to continue forward. As you can see, they have LeBrock Helm chairs right here. These are completely adjustable. You can pull this up or down, get the armrest out of the way if you want, and even slide the whole seat backward or forward depending on how you'd like to run the boat. Obviously, the catamarans have the tunnel down the center, so usually you're hurt a little bit, but they actually did a good job in here providing ahead ample access to your rigging. You can open all those panels and get to everything with absolutely no problem. And then ultimately what this ends up being is a great storage spot for any sort of bags, gear like we're using today. Here we have a forward box. I'll go ahead and crack this one open so you can take a look at it. Good size. This one is not quite as deep, obviously, because the sponsons are coming upwards here towards the bow, but plenty of room to store all kinds of different things. And then you get over here, Eric, let me get this so I don't, crack a finger. You got tons of rod storage throughout the entire boat, which you can never have enough of. And then if you're running to the Bahamas or anywhere you're gonna do some heavy fishing, look at the size of these boxes. Using them as storage for safety gear right now, but these things got to be every bit of 4.5 feet, and you got 2 of them. You can fit large tuna in here, probably get a swordfish in there if you take the bill off, any large pelagic. On top of being excellent space for fish boxes, coolers, storage, I mean, check out the size of this lounger. I'm not a huge guy, but there's a lot of room there. So if you wanted to lay back, relax, you definitely can do that, no problem. Have multiple people here, have a kid or two take a nap. It's really a great spot. Gives you enough room up here towards the bow. You got the step up here, and I'll open this one up so take a look. More storage you can never have enough of, all completely finished underneath, gas shocked, so they're easy to open. Pop that thing closed, and then we continue on. More storage here as well. So this is another huge box. So look at that, all the fenders in here with room to spare. Again, you just can never have enough storage in any boat, and this thing seems to have an unlimited amount. If you're filling every storage box on this boat, you're probably overpacking and you don't need half the junk you're taking. Here, anchor locker, got that on both sides. This connects underneath. You got 2 access hatches for it, and then you can get a windlass if you want, as you can see right off the bow here. So besides that, this is a great spot to throw a cast net right here, casting platform, sight fish, throw a line on something, or just, I don't know, sit back, throw a beanbag, and relax up here. Even the hardtop design on this thing is cool looking. As you can see, it almost looks like a Batman symbol if you look at it from the drone footage. Then it cuts in right there, so if you do have a second station, that seems to be your access from the aluminum steps on the side. I'm just taking a guess right now, but you got your Garmin Dome radar, Gemlux carbon fiber, Grand Slam outriggers, and just plenty of space to do whatever it is you want up here. Wow, look at that thing, that's pretty. So one thing you have to realize is the difference between the aluminum and the fiberglass. A lot of the big motor yachts do aluminum just because of the strength of it. Basically, this isn't a 2-piece, this isn't a 3-piece like we're used to seeing in fiberglass. This is one singular piece all welded together. So as you can see, they put a toe kick around the entire boat, which you normally don't see in fiberglass. So what they want you to take away from this is many of us may be used to seeing aluminum boats in the fit and finish not being quite up there compared to fiberglass, but similar to some of the big yachts, Projekt Boatworks nailed it. So if you haven't seen this boat in person and you're skeptical about the fit and finish, we can definitely tell you, and you're gonna see from this video right here, what they did on this boat is absolute perfection. It's one of the nicest finished aluminum boats we have ever seen, and definitely a must-see if you're looking to find something, looking for a cat in the 40-foot range. So my name is Alan from Center Consoles Only. We want to thank you guys for following along, showing your support. Head over to openfisherman.com to check out some of our apparel that we have dropping, and we're going to be doing this again over and over very soon. Thank you guys.